Hello, eighth grade, and welcome to our 10th lesson in second step. This lesson is titled Environmental Factors That Contribute to Bullying and Harassment. Remember last week, we talked quite a bit about the social factors that contribute to bullying and harassment. Can you think of those social factors? I give you a moment to discuss as a class, or you can write it in the chat. So let's talk about those social factors. So I'm gonna go over with you really quick. What are those social factors that we talked about on last time? Remember, we talked about power and privilege. We talked about stereotypes, assumption, and then sometimes students may feel that bullying is accepted and it's okay to do. So those are the three social factors that contribute to bullying and harassment in quite a bit of schools. I hope you recall that from last time. Now we're going to talk a lot about the environmental factors that contribute to bullying and harassment. So remember last time I introduced a term to you. That term was perception. So what is your perception of bullying and harassment in our school? So let's talk about that as a class. What is your perception? And I'll give you a moment. So after you have talked about what is your perception of bullying and harassment in our school, we're going to move on to our lesson for today. So this lesson is going to really go into detail about the environmental factors that contribute to bullying. So in this lesson, we'll learn how the physical space and rules within an area can make bullying and harassment more likely to happen. So what is that? Let's talk a lot about that in detail. So on your very first warm-up question, I want you to discuss this as a class, and I also want you to write this on your student handout. Okay, where was the last place you experienced, witnessed, or heard about bullying happening within our school? This should not be a physical place, not online, or I'm sorry, this should be a physical place. And we're not going to talk about what is happening online. So only talk about physical space. And I give you a couple of minutes to discuss. So let's talk about the two environmental factors that contribute to bullying and harassment. So what are environmental factors? Environmental factors are the physical space and any rules and regulations that apply within an area. So let's discuss physical space. What is physical space? The way an area is set up with furniture, walls, and other items, and who or what occupies the space, such as bathrooms, hallways, or certain hallways for certain grades. So that's the physical space. So this is a picture of a classroom. So that's physical space. Let's look at rules and regulations. What is rules and regulations? What's allowed or not allowed in certain areas or situations, and how well the rules are followed or enforced. So this is a picture of the different rules of the hallway. So these are the rules for outside of school. So let's talk about the rules within our school. Okay, let's move on to activity number 1. So let's look at what students think or where students think bullying and harassment happens the most within our school. So I'll give you a moment to discuss as a class. So tell me, where do you think bullying happens the most within our school? So based on this national survey, quite a few students feel that bullying happens the most in the hallway. It happens within the hallway. So we're going to drag the 42% wherever the hallway is. Quite a few students feel, 42% of students feel that it happens within a classroom setting. 27% of students feel that it happens within the cafeteria. 12% of students feel that it may happen in the bathroom or in bathrooms or in restrooms. 22% of students feel that it happens outside of school. And 8% of students feel that bullying and harassment occurs on the buses. So what do you think? Do you agree with this statistic? Think about these three questions. What was surprising to you about the results? Let's talk about that as a class. Is this surprising to you? Think about this next question. What environmental factors do you think make bullying and harassment more likely to happen in some places than others, where it happens the most? Why does it happen more often in the cafeteria and the restrooms, in the hallways? And let's talk about that as a class. So bullying often happens in places at school where there's very little direct adult supervision and where younger and older students sometimes share a space. It can also happen in classrooms when teachers are busy. Do you agree with that? Let's talk about that as a class. Do you agree that bullying happens when teachers is not around? Does it happen outside of school quite a bit? Let's talk about that as a class. And I'll give you a moment. So let's discuss this next question as a class. How does our school compare with the national survey? So remember, I gave you those numbers. The national survey, the results from the national survey indicate that 43% of incidents happen in the hallway, and 42% of students feel that it happens most often in the classroom. So what do you think? How does our school compare with the national survey? And I'll give you a moment to answer as a class. Let's talk about this question as well. Do you think our school is different from the national survey? Or do you think our school is similar? Are we similar or are we different? So let's wrap everything up and let's discuss these two last questions. How do our school rules and regulations protect or not protect students from bullying and harassment? Let's write this on our student handout and let's discuss as a class. The second question, which social or environmental factors do you want to change the most and why? Let's discuss this as well. So let's look at the social factors that contribute to bullying and harassment. Let's look at the social factors and the environmental factors, and we're going to go over them really quick. So remember, we talked about students. Some students may feel that it's okay to bully because it's accepted throughout our school. So that's the social factor, power and privilege, and social stereotypes and assumptions. Those are the social factors. The environmental factors may be physical space and rules and regulation. So these two things can contribute to how bullying happens within our school. So which factors do you want to change the most and why? So let's wrap everything up and let's talk about a couple of things. So this week we looked at how physical spaces, how they contribute or how they can encourage to bullying and harassment in our school. And when we totally notice that this is happening, we can change it within our school, or we can really acknowledge it and see it for what it is and change it, change our behaviors as students and really talk about it as a school and really have a discussion about it. So I hope that this has really opened your eyes to where it happens within our school and we can do things to change it. So in the next lesson, we're going to learn strategies to help change the social and environmental factors that contribute to bullying and harassment within our school. So that's going to be our next lesson on the next time. So students, we won't be in school on the next Tuesday. That's November 3rd. That's election day. So I will see you on the next Tuesday. That will be the very first Tuesday in December. So I hope that you were able to talk frankly with your classmates about bullying and harassment, why it happens and where it happens within our school. And we're going to talk about this in detail on the next time that we meet. Guys, I will see you on next time and please enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you on next time. See you.